The Denver Nuggets lose to the Portland Trailblazers in a game that they honestly, I think everybody can acknowledge, they should have won. They just don't do enough to close out the job. The bench struggles, not enough perimeter creation. Man, Jokic has another game where he was on the way. He was on the way to having his fifth straight triple-double, an opportunity to get it at the end of the game with a pass to Christian Brown. Christian is unable to hit the shot, and then the Nuggets, through a myriad of very weird officiating possessions, some in which Jokic seems to get clearly wrapped on a play by Toumani Camara. The officials, they didn't feel that way. They don't call it. And the Nuggets, they lose on an Aaron Gordon foul on Jeremy Grant, in which Jeremy was running around the wing trying to get to a nice shot, and then he gets fouled with 1.4 seconds left. They throw the ball up to Nikola Jokic, and Nikola Jokic grabs the ball in the air, tries to do the Christian Laettner, and just misses the floater from the nail. So overall, definitely not the game that a lot of people were hoping for. Obviously, on the Denver side, if you're a Portland fan, you feel really good about this. You know, you got to win versus one of the best teams in the league, and you got a chance to do it with Denny Avdija having a really good game. Then Toumani Camara, who was in foul trouble all day, found ways to be really productive towards the end of the game. Then if you look at Donovan Clingan, they didn't get a lot out of him today, but Robert Williams either. But what they did do, they really spread out the floor. They put Dewap on the court. They had Chris Murray on the court to close out the game, trying to play as much five out as they possibly could. Denny had 23 points in this game. But look, the Nuggets, man, they were in position to win. They maybe probably should have. They get a Nikola Jokic game where he was 21, 14, and 9 with one block, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. His rim protection was very good today. They played zone for the entirety of the first half. They went 2-3. They really bottled up a lot of the offensive possessions for the Portland Trailblazers. Today, they only allowed a 110 offensive rating. They had it down to a 101 at half. But just if you just look at this game, man, they really should have been able to put it away. But down the stretch, just too many mistakes. You know, Aaron Gordon, even though on this play they didn't get a score out of it, Aaron Gordon is dribbling the ball all the way down the floor, and he turns the ball over on just kind of over dribbling. And then Jamal had some entry passes that got deflected. Cam Johnson, the game was on the line. He had a wide open lane. The Nuggets are trying to get into the two-man game, and Cam Johnson has a wide open lane. He ends up getting all the way down to the basket, gets a little bump on Drew Holiday, tries to sell it, and then Toumani Camara blocks it out of bounds. And the next play, Jamal Murray does an entry pass to Jokic, and on this play, it very much looked like Jokic got wrapped from behind, but for whatever reason, I'm not really sure what the referee felt like went down differently on the play, but the referee didn't call it, and so instead of a foul and would have been free throws at that point, then it would have been at that point in time they gave it a jump ball. Then the jump ball, Jokic wins, taps it to Aaron Gordon. Gordon gets it blocked by Shaedon Sharpe. So, yeah, man, it is definitely an interesting way to lose. Overall, I genuinely think early season stuff, it's just going to be like this sometimes. I think when you're in situations like this and you're trying to win games and both teams are playing at a super high level and they're doing the very best they can to try to make game-winning plays, good teams are going to perform and they're going to step up. And today, really shout out to Portland, for being able to rise up, especially in situations where, they're trying to really respond to a lot of the runs that the Nuggets are putting them on. But I just don't really love so one of the two things that's kind of happened here is, Jokic is getting less touches and usage than he has in the previous eras. And one of the reasons is because they're trying to diversify the offense, which is a good thing. But one of the balances that Adelman and the team is looking for is they're trying to figure out when exactly to get Jokic the ball so he can operate as a scorer. And this is also with Jokic. And then when to allow for other people to kind of do the job and to take over. And so if you look at the scoring, Jokic had 21, Jamal Murray had 22. Off the bench, Tim Hardaway had 11. Peyton Watson had 10 points off the bench. Aaron Gordon had 14 points today. But if you look at like Christian Brown, I'm not sure what's going on with Christian, but he took 3 threes today, and none of them look good. Like, none of them look good. They looked like they were just not in good rhythm. They didn't look confident, and you didn't feel like they were good threes coming out of his hand. And, you know, he plays 30 minutes today. He was the main defender versus, like, you know, Drew Holiday and then versus Denny Advia. And Denny was obviously a lot bigger than him, was giving him a lot of problems. And so, you know, he had 4 turnovers today as well. He led the team in turnovers. And just obviously, again, that's such a random thing. Like, I would not, you know, Nuggets fans are kind of getting on him about the turnovers. I'm fine with the experimentation with Peyton Watson and Christian Brown. Like, that's just a part of it. It's just a process. But, you know, there were just some moments today where Christian was just late. Like, he had a pass that he should have made to Jamal Murray much earlier than he did in fast break, but he's just not used to handling the ball and then making decisive plays with the basketball. And he's just not like a natural passer. And so he gets the turnover in that spot, and he gets like the turnovers on these deflections as well. And then Jokic throws him the ball when he's in front of the Nuggets bench and throws him the ball right into the corner. And Christian, the ball's right here, and he like is thinking about passing it back in if Jokic wants to do a cut, but then the ball flies out of his hands. And then, like I said, the biggest one was just the end of the game. You know, you just have to be able to, you know, if you're getting really good looks, you know, you got to be able to convert those. And, you know, Tim Hardaway Jr. played better than him today. You know, Tim Hardaway, obviously, you know, it's not the same level of defender, but, you know, it's just the offense was a little bit more fluid with Tim Hardaway in. And I do think there was a world in which he could have closed again, but, you know, it is what it is. Christian's just going to have to work through this slump. He only played 30 minutes today. Like, of all the starters, he played the least amount of minutes. Peyton Watson played 22. Bruce Brown played 19. Tim Hardaway played 22. Like, they were all getting a lot of minutes. Jonas Valanciunas, you know, he played 10 minutes day himself. Jokic was a +9. Jonas Valanciunas was a -11 today. And, again, a lot of that was just that top of the fourth quarter. Jokic left both times he sat out and gave them a pretty, you know, good lead. But then, the Portland Trailblazers go to zone. But one of the things that saved Portland today was, and they didn't score off all of these, but they had 16 offensive rebounds today, and they got 7 from Donovan Clingan. You know, Donovan is just huge. And so, like, when he was standing right next to the basket, I mean, he's bigger than Jokic, and so he's, like, tipping the ball up. They're getting multiple possessions out of that. He had 15 rebounds. Didn't do much else of anything. But just the flow of the game, it just got really murky, especially down the stretch in the fourth quarter. The Nuggets had a 1-0 with a minute and 41 left, and this is the same thing with Golden State. They had a 105 to 100 lead with a minute and 56 seconds left. Jeremy Grant gets a driving layup. I don't know how he was able to get such a free layup. And then Aaron Gordon turned the ball over. But again, like I said, Keegan Murray missed a layup, or Chris Murray missed a layup. And then the next possession, there's an offensive rebound. AG hits a step back. Okay, so it's a step back. The Nuggets are up 5, 107 to 102. 107 to 102 with 54 seconds left. Denny drives. They call a foul on Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson gets the foul. Denny hits the and one with the free throw. And then with 35 seconds left, Jokic hits Christian Brown for a wide open three-pointer, and he bricks it. Drew Holiday gets it, the rebound. And then the next possession, Christian Brown fouls. So back-to-back really, really bad plays for Christian Brown. Missed wide open three, and then he fouled. But again, it didn't look like a clear foul. It was a transition play. He's like running with his arms up, but then Jeremy Grant like carries his momentum into him. But the thing that was weird today was that if you watch the game, Tim Hardaway Jr. had a possession at the basket where he got clobbered. Like, he literally jumped in the air. The defenders, they smacked each other, and like Tim flew into the ground. No call whatsoever. And then when you watch this play happen, Jeremy doesn't get that same contact, falls, and then it's free throws. But then on the other end, like I said, you had an opportunity to where you could have gotten a shot with Cam Johnson, a finger roll that gets blocked by Tamani Kamara. And then that's when the wrap-up happened. So 4 seconds left in the game. Tamati Kumar like grabs a ball behind Jokic somehow, and then he gets awarded the tip ball. So just like a weird stretch of possessions, and then Aaron Gordon ends up getting the ball on the tip, misses, and it is what it is. So they were in control of this game. Like when Jokic left and they started the fourth quarter, they had a lead. It was 81-71 at the top of the fourth quarter. And it was very similar again in the first half. Jokic left the game. He left it with an 8-point lead, and they just weren't able to sustain those things. So, it's just one of those things where today they weren't able to get, I think, good enough bench minutes to be able to convert on a lot of those possessions. But, it's definitely frustrating. You definitely want them to win, but I do think that they were able to really, and this is Portland, they were able to make a lot of really strong attempts to get back into the game, and namely with their defense. And they capitalized on the fact that Christian Braun, he's just not there yet. Whatever the slow start thing is to the year, he's not there yet. And I told you before the season started, I'm really looking for him to become a viable three-point shooter, because if you have moments like this where they only took 25 threes today. Now, the reason why Portland got 39 off, they only made 11 of them, but they got them off, it's just because the Nuggets were in zone for so much, but then it was working. But they were just fighting mismatches, and they weren't able to finish those possessions. But again, the Nuggets, they went to the line 31 times today. Portland went to the line 31 times today. The Nuggets were 25 of 31. You make your free throws, you win the game. So there's small things on their end that they could have done differently. I think Jokic had a very good game. But obviously he missed 2 free throws himself. You know what I mean? He makes a free throw. It's a different story. And then obviously, Jamal Murray, he only goes 1 of 4 from 3, but he, had some really good looks in front of him. He made 2 step backs in the last 2 minutes that were just humongous shots. And so you really just got a chance to, he's feeling really good at this point in time in the season. He had 22, 6, and 3 today. Minus 15, but again, people got to remember Jamal is anchoring those second units, and if the second units aren't playing well, it was really murky, then that's going to affect Jamal. But he actually had, I think, a really good game today. Cam Johnson had 9 points and 6 rebounds and assists. He had a crazy block. I think it was Chris Murray, crazy block at the rim that he got a mad high for. But they just needed more three-point volume. The only person that got up a lot of threes today was Tim Hardaway. He was 2 of 6. Excuse me. So, yeah, it's definitely unfortunate, but they play again soon, and they'll have a chance to bounce back from this. Let me make sure, check the schedule. Yeah, the Nuggets play. Yeah, they play on Monday. They got the Kings coming up on Monday in Denver, so they have a chance to bounce back, get the 4-2. Then after that, they're going to have the Heat. They got the Warriors again. They got the Pacers, the Kings, the Clippers. So everything's in front of them, obviously, but I think a lot of the season, like I said, it's just going to be about, continuing to, I think, be consistent with what you're bringing to the table. Bennett Durando, Denver Post said, not the most animated argument you'll see from Nikola Jokic by any stretch, but he was clearly in disbelief at the jump ball call there. Thought he was getting hugged from behind. Yeah, and then the 24-second violation and all that. So, it is what it is, y'all. But I got to go do Lockdown NBA, y'all. Y'all know time to make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Y'all my folk. See you on the other side.